Good morning.
Good morning.
It is such a wonderful morning, and all of you to the left side, I want to tell you, just think that you are in Florida on a warm beach. It will warm you up, including the governor. And all of you on the right side, my right side, you're the fortunate ones this morning. You have sunshine. But we are absolutely glad that you are here. As we look back historically, we find that when important milestones were reached, the people would gather, the leaders would assemble and give important statements. Music was played, bread was broken, and the scribes recorded the monumental occasion. Today, we have drawn together each of these components to celebrate, extend thanks, and appropriately commit to history. The University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff's commitment to science and technology. Our program will begin, as you see, it is printed, with greetings by our Chancellor, Chancellor Calvin Johnson, and he will be followed by Representative Henry Hank Wilkins IV, who will do a welcome and meditation. To Governor Beebe, Representative Wilkins, Senator Flowers, Chancellor Johnson, the Honorable Shane Broadway, Dr. Bobbitt, all platform guests. We are so happy to have you join us on this occasion. And now we will begin our program as printed with a warm round of thanks to each person who is assembled here for a very monumental occasion. Chancellor Johnson.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Governor, I asked Senator Wilkins to loan me his hat just as soon as I finish here. Today,
Both of y'all are hair challenged.
we'll talk about that later. Today is a great day in the history of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff and signals greater things to come. To Dr. Mayor Benjamin, presiding officer, Governor Mike Beebe, Don Bobbitt, President, Shane Broadway, and to other important dignitaries here on the podium, I bring you greetings and great joy. This groundbreaking ceremony is symbolic of collaborative effort and progress made possible by support from the state of Arkansas, the United States Department of Education, Title III Part B for Historical Black Colleges and Universities, and a lot of hard work and persistence on behalf of Dr. Mary Benjamin and the STEM Coalition Committee that has brought this ceremony to fruition here this morning. The building itself represents the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff response to a continuing call for emphasis on programs in the STEM disciplines. President Bobbitt, Governor Beebe, and Shane Broadway, the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff accepts the challenge to promote programs in the STEM area, not only at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, but in the Delta as well. We are committed to recruiting students, to retain those students, graduate those students, and to find employment, to assist those students in finding employment in areas in the science discipline. For example, here's the evidence. Effective for the fall 2012 semester, the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff has 213 STEM majors, representing a total of 8% of our total student body, with grade point averages of 3.3 and a retention rate of 87%.
Yeah.
We have 12 students that are, thank you. We proudly announce that we have 12 students on track to graduate fall 2012 in the STEM areas, and we have 27 of those students that will graduate in the spring. I think that is admirable, And please give a round of applause to our students and faculty. We are indeed excited about this opportunity and want to thank you individually and collectively for your continued support. The University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff remains committed to its mission and its role as the flagship of the Delta. The university applauds this program and see it as paving the way for economic growth and prosperity in the Delta. Thank you very much.
Johnson. We are indeed honored to have with us our campaign chair for the STEM Academy and Conference Center, who happens to be the pastor of St. James United Methodist Church and is also an Arkansas State Representative for District 17. Please help me to welcome Representative Hank Henry Wilkins before us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is a joy to be here, and it's good to hear you say good morning like you're glad to be here as well. Thank you. As I tell them on Sunday morning, the better the response from the congregation, the lesser time you'll have to be here. I will be brief. I want to say thank you to Dr. Benjamin for the hard work that she certainly has put into this, and other staff members, Dr. Colon, Mr. Wall, certainly Chancellor Johnson, who is doing an outstanding job as the interim chancellor, and I think we ought to let him know how much we appreciate him. A protocol having been established, all of those who are on the podium, the students, and all who are here today, we thank you. We want to say a special word of welcome and thanks to State Senator Stephanie Flowers, who is here today. Let's express our appreciation to her. Certainly, as the state senator for this district, she holds one of the keys that can help Dr. Calvin Johnson and Governor Beebe and myself to unlock the door that leads to additional financial help for this project. Hey! Hey, I gotta give myself a hand on that one. We do want to also welcome all of the elected officials. I have seen that Mayor Carl Reedus is here. Let's express our appreciation to him. Also, Councilman Stephen Mays. And I've been looking around, are there any other elected officials who, Councilman Steps is over here to your left. Any other elected officials that I might have overlooked? I want to just say a brief word of thanks to the UAPB faculty, Dr. Benjamin and others, for your vision, for the insight and the recognition of what this STEM Academy can do, not simply for UAPB, but for Southeast Arkansas and for the rest of Arkansas as well. And as I was thinking about that, I was reminded of a text from Jeremiah where it says, I know my plans for you. And the text goes on to end with these words, to give you a future with hope. I believe today that as we break ground for this STEM Academy, it is part of the larger vision of hope for Southeast Arkansas, for the city of Pine Bluff, and for the future of UAPB. And I'd ask you now if you would join with me in a moment of prayer. We are thankful, grateful, and honored, dear Lord, that you allow us the opportunity to be here on this beautiful morning to celebrate what is to come as we break ground today We pray your blessings upon this endeavor and its future, for we know that it will provide possibilities, opportunities, and hope for dozens, for hundreds, for thousands yet to come. We thank you and we praise you. In the name of Christ our Lord, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Wilkins. Powerful prayer, and I know you listened very attentively. Actually, he gave the purpose of this project, but I'm going to ask Dr. Charles Colon, my co-PI, to please come forward and in a few words give you the purpose of this project as we present it to our various funding agencies. Dr. Charles Colon, who is chair for the Department of Mathematics and Technology here at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Dr. Colon.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Governor Beebe, all our other distinguished guests, and I consider you all distinguished guests also. Thank you for joining us on this historic occasion. When we break ground for a 29,000 square foot facility to house our STEM initiatives at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. I've been a member of the STEM team since 2003 and currently serve as co-PI on two of our major projects, the HBCU undergraduate program and the Arkansas Lewis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation, both funded by the NSF. We have an additional grant from the United States Department of Education which focuses on graduate STEM programs. From these initiatives, we have generated over $11.5 million since 2004 to increase the number of well-prepared, underrepresented minority STEM majors and graduates. Today, we pause to share our accomplishments in innovative STEM programs with the community, the state, and the nation. To celebrate the beginning of the construction of our new STEM Academy and Conference Center, which we hope to occupy by spring 2014. And lastly, to extend thanks to our advisory boards, funding agencies, internship partners, our STEM scholars, our construction team, the state of Arkansas, and the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff for the steadfast support given for STEM enrichment as part of our academic portfolio. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Colon. He works very hard. He's with us at 12 o'clock at night when we feel we might need a little added security, and always makes us laugh. So we really appreciate all that you do. I have asked our chancellor to introduce each of our state and educational leaders for this occasion. He will begin first with an introduction of the governor, and then we'll proceed with the introduction of our educational leaders for the state of Arkansas. Chancellor Johnson.
I'm honored to present to you at this time a person that we all know, we appreciate, and consider a friend of all of education in the state of Arkansas. And specifically, we appreciate his support for higher education. This support on behalf of our governor is noteworthy because it places Arkansas among just a very few states that continue to receive support for higher education at the same level that it has in the past. Our governor has served for almost 20 years in state government. He served as a senator, attorney general, and for the last 7 years, he has served as a governor for the great state of Arkansas. Please join me in welcoming our governor, Mike Beebe.
Governor? Thank you. Thank you very much. I know we're here for a STEM celebration, but in order
for STEM or any other academic enterprise to be effective and meaningful, you have to be able to read and understand and comprehend. So English is important. So when you learn English, you know there are rules, and by the very nature of a rule, you know there are exceptions. We have a rule called term limits. The exception to the rule is that Hank Wilkins has been in the legislature for 71 years. Senator, Representative, Chancellor, Mr. President, Mr. Director, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, I want to keep this short because the Chancellor, knowing who his boss is, gave the President the sunshine and me the cold wind. I don't want to sit in this cold wind any longer than I have to, and so I hope I can set a tone for those coming after me to be relatively short. We're not here for long speeches. We're here to celebrate the combined effort and work of a whole lot of people that's brought us to this position. And, as has been mentioned, to celebrate the future. And the future really does lie, in many instances, in fact, in most instances, in the STEM arena. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics are the areas where the highest paid and most sought after and really most available jobs appear to be in the coming years. And for the minority representation to be included in that, it is highly significant and important that UAPB provide a leading role in ensuring that we educate those students for those fields. Arkansas has made enormous and significant progress in the last several years across the board in education. And a leading component of that has been our ability in higher education to meet the needs of the job market of tomorrow. Higher education, and particularly higher education as it relates to engineering, mathematics, and science activities, and the technology fields that have emerged in the last few years that many of us couldn't have even imagined a decade ago, really do require a higher and higher level of technical skills and a higher and higher level of education. That's why this building is so important. That's why this work is so important. The building is necessary to be able to attract and retain fine faculty, to be able to properly house the students. But obviously it's what goes on inside that building that will make the difference. The statistics that you've just heard about the majors, the graduation and retention rates that you're talking about, and the ability of this university to be able to meet these needs is a primary component of how Arkansas will continue the progress that we're making. So to all of you who have had a hand in this, to everybody gathered here, congratulations. Let's make sure we get this job done the right way. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Governor. Our next presenter is the Interim Director of the Department of Higher Education, Mr. Shane Broadway. He is an advocate and supporter of higher education. The Director Broadway promotes education at all levels, from early childhood to adult education. He was an effective legislator in the House and in the Senate. He served as Speaker of the House, and he was a supporter of legislation for the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, regardless of how vague it might have appeared at some time, Senator Broadway. I do want to say that Senator Broadway has shown his commitment to education over the years, and he continues to do that at the Department of Higher Education. Please welcome Interim Director of Higher Education, Shane Broadway.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Chancellor, very much, and I am going to take a cue because he signs my paycheck too. So I will be we'll be brief, and I don't know how Dr. Bobbitt not swung sitting in the sun over here, but we're going to enjoy it while we can. Chancellor, thank you for your leadership. To everyone, all of our distinguished guests here today, it is an honor to be here on this great day of celebration, and I will take a side note away from the academic side and say congratulations to the SWAC Western Division champions. So he's taking credit for all this, by the way. Y'all didn't know that. He's coaching football. He's breaking ground. I mean, This guy's amazing. I'm certain with him. I know it. But this is truly a great day in the history of this institution and focusing on the future in terms of students not only here at the campus, but as I was looking through the book provided, talking about the summer academies and starting in the early grades. And that's the one thing I'll touch on real quickly. I was at a Deans of Education meeting a few weeks ago, and one of the deans talked about dropping off their 4.5-year-old at preschool. And they set all the kids down in front of computer terminals that you and I use every day at our desk and have a mouse. And all the 4.5-year-olds started going to the screen like this and trying to make the screen move like an iPhone or an iPad. And he looked back at his dad and said, "Daddy, this thing doesn't work." That's the future. The future is technology, and at 4.5 years old, some of these kids know more than we'll ever know in regards to technology. But that is certainly the wave of the future, and it's important that we inspire young people to look at these fields, exciting them about science and technology, and that math can be an exciting career, that there is money to be made and a career to be a lifelong fulfilling prospect. And so it's about starting early, creating an opportunity for those students to come here and be a part of this campus and understand what opportunities a college can afford and a college education affords to them. So I'm excited about not just the focus, but right here on campus, but working with others throughout the Delta and throughout our state to encourage students and excite them about the future of the STEM field. So congratulations, it's a great day.
Our next presenter is President Don Bobbitt. And Senator Wilkin, you know as well as I do, it's no secret why President Bobbitt is sitting over on the warm side of the building. And President Bobbitt, as Chancellor, I want you to know you can just speak as long as you want to. President Bobbitt was appointed as the president of the university system actually November of 2011. So he has, about 5 days ago, he celebrated his first year anniversary. President Bobbitt has established himself as a supporter of education, of higher education in the state of Arkansas. And he came to us and to this position as a scientist and as an educator. Dr. Bobbitt understands the challenge that we have in the Delta as well as the other parts of the state of Arkansas, and he has committed himself to addressing those issues and opportunities. His vision might be summarized best by a sentence taken from one of his speeches that stated in reference to higher education. He said, "We can do better and we must do better." Please welcome our friend and President Don Bobbitt.
Thank you, Chancellor. Was it my imagination, or did he seem surprised that I had made it through 1 year? Well, I want to offer my voice of congratulations and take a moment of personal privilege to introduce a dear friend of mine and someone who will be very important to this project. And I'm sure I'm jumping on someone else's parade, but I'd like to introduce Troy Alley to this group. Maybe you need no introduction. He and his brother are from Conrail Construction, and our families have done many things together, and I'm so pleased that you and your corporation will be working on this project, and I know it's going to be absolutely first rate. You know, the thing that jumps out at me is that planning a project such as this doesn't occur over a very short period of time. In fact, the vision for this project was conceived at a time economically in this country and in this state, which was much different than it is right now. And it's easy to show a lot of courage and move forward when things are going very well. But it shows real insight and courage to do so when maybe it doesn't look like the deck is stacked in your favor. And so I want to congratulate Dr. Benjamin and the faculty here for thinking of this important project and moving it forward at a time when the funding and other aspects of how it was going to be actually arranged were not immediately clear. And I really applaud their courage. You know, we talk a lot about STEM and what it means. I think higher education in general is an opportunity for individuals to impact not only themselves, but their families and their communities. Certainly this building will be no exception. If you look at it, at what it means and what these graduates will mean, as they move out from this university to take positions of responsibility across the Delta, across the state, and across the United States, you understand that this building is a multiplier. Each individual who leaves here educated will impact numerous other individuals over the course of their lives. And I think that is really the most significant thing that you will see that originates from the work being done and the education being done in this building. And I'm reminded of the old adage that you can give a person a fish and feed him for a day, but you can teach him to fish and you can feed him for a lifetime. And I think that there will be a lot of education that will feed people for a lifetime going on in this building. So congratulations to all associated with UAPB, and I'm very excited to be part of this project and part of today's ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor Johnson, for those introductions. Mr. Broadway, Governor, President Bobbitt, we really appreciate your presence and your words of encouragement. That those are part of the words that the scribes will be recording so that those in the years to come will remember what was said here on this important occasion. We have at least 2 other persons that will present. We have awarded each one 2 minutes, but it is important that we hear from them. One is the Director of University Relations and Development. Without the support of that office, we wouldn't be here today. Dr. Margaret Martin Hall directs that office, and she will make comments at this time. Dr. Martin Hall.
Good morning to my UAPB colleagues and to the dignitaries with whom I share the platform. And a special good morning to you, the very important people who make up the audience. For nearly a half-century, the Title III program, funded through what is now the U.S. Department of Education, has had a presence at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Beginning with a planning grant of less than $50,000 in 1966, and growing 100 times to more than $5 million in 2011, the Title III grant has been a force for positive change at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. With Title III funding, careers have been advanced, classroom and labs have been well equipped, and state-of-the-art learning environments have been maintained, renovated, and constructed. Tens of thousands of students benefited from the nearly $60 million in Title III funding that this institution has received since 1966. But today, this day, we stand on the threshold of a history-making event at the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Though our past Title III activities have brought about significant accomplishments, and our current Title III activities help keep us pace with the accomplishments and the needs of the 21st century, the future success of many will be advanced by the construction of the STEM Center. The construction of the STEM facility provides for the first time ever an academic facility dedicated to meet the needs of STEM majors at the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. And for the first time, Title III funds have been used in such a manner at UAPB that will set an all-time high to academic performance. This is indeed a grand, grand day for the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Thank you for being here to share it with us.
Thank you, Dr. Martin Hall. At the end of the day, this entire program is about the students. At this point, I'm going to ask all the students in the STEM Academy to please stand, and I want you just to see the students and those that are standing out there, hold up your hand so you can see who they are. Those are our students. Thank you so much. The students are very organized, and their president is going to make remarks on behalf of all the students. Ms. Nalita Holt Blunt, President.
Greetings, distinguished guests, Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs, Dr. Mary E. Benjamin, our other distinguished guests, faculty, staff, and fellow students. My name is Nalita L. Holt Blunt. I am a senior biology major here at the university, and I am the 2012-2013 STEM president for our scholars. Today I have been tasked to bestow upon you the lifelong impact that STEM has had upon our lives. I came to this university via STEM in the summer of 2009, and this program was designed to help high school students transition to universities more smoothly. The program designers were not only very communicable and easily approachable, they were the people who would be our advisors in our upcoming fields of majors. I've gained knowledge that has made me and also the other STEM scholars much more receptive students and ultimately extremely competitive applicants for furthering our future career goals. The STEM program has helped us search for, find, and acquire hands-on experience in research programs for the summer and academic school years. It has provided us with many networking opportunities and enabled us to compete in research conferences with students nationwide. I know that upon completion of our degrees, we will enter the workforce as well-rounded, confident, and intelligent individuals, and it is due to the astuteness of our professors that has led us to the place where we are today. And to see this STEM building finally realized, to foster and nurture in the future professionals of our future is awe-inspiring. I leave you with this quote from the first president of this university, President John B. Watson. The end of education is to know God and the laws and purposes of this universe, and to reconcile one's life with these laws. The first aim of a good college is not only to teach books, but the meaning and the purpose of life. Hard study and the learning of books are only a means to this end. We develop power, courage, and determination, and we go out to achieve truth, wisdom, and justice. If we do not come to this, then the cost of schooling is wasted. Yes, the journey to our dreams is a long and arduous one, but would you rather the MDs and the PhDs be handed out to everyone who ever yearned to be a future doctor, lawyer, or scientist in this world? Just think.
Thank you so very much. She represents our future, and what we thought was that these would be the students who in the years to come will send their children here to take advantage of this facility. So at this point, we are going to ask the Director for Physical Plant, Mr. Robert Wall, to introduce the construction team. Mr. Wall.
Good morning. I joined the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff in March of this year, and I found this project well underway. So I found inspiration and I've appreciated the enthusiasm which the planning committee and team put the project together. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce to you this morning the members of the construction team. Ron Woods, who's our architect, could not be with us this morning. He had a family emergency, but I believe Dee Dee Nichols, there she is here this morning representing Woods Architect. We also have Conrail, Executive Vice President Troy Alley.
Would you please stand from the TV camera?
Mike Smith, Charles Gillison, Scott Franks, and from UAPB we also have Keith Ross, Ed Finney, and Mr. O.C. Duffy. And we anxiously await the groundbreaking.
You've been a wonderful, wonderful audience. I'm going to take time now to recognize some guests. It might take me a little minute. I don't promise you I can do it in 2 minutes because so many people have made today possible. And if I should omit someone, just know that we really, really appreciate all that you have done. I'd like to start by recognizing persons on the stage that you did not meet. Mayor Reedus, would you please stand and be acknowledged? Vice Chancellor Pauline Thomas, very important to this project. Let's recognize her. Over in the corner, Mr. O.C. Duffy. He has been introduced, but I want to introduce him again because he looks out for our interests on our construction projects, and he is a professor here in industrial technology. I would like to ask at this time, and this will give you a little chance to stand up, I'd like to ask all alumni of this university to please stand. All alumni of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff to please stand. We really appreciate your being here. All retired faculty, staff, and administrators. Some of you knew this would be coming, and you left a little bit before we got it, but we are so glad that you're here to celebrate this occasion. I'm wondering if Dr. Jesse Walker is in the audience. Dr. Jesse Walker is the co-PI on the project from the U.S. Department of Education, which gave us the first $1.5 million toward this building. We'd like to acknowledge the National Science Foundation, the U.S. Department of Education, and Arkansas Science and Technology Authority for funding. Dr. Gail McClure, a vice president, would you please stand, Dr. McClure, is on our advisory board, but she is also very responsible for the funding that we've gotten. Over the last few years, we have been awarded more than $500,000 from the Arkansas Science and Technology Authority for our students to do research during the academic year and in the summer. I'd like to ask all members of our advisory boards, and we have about 3 different advisory boards. So if you're on any of our advisory boards for STEM, Arkansas Lewis Stokes, would you please stand, and if you're out in the audience, raise your hand, because these are the people that come down on quiet days on our campus to give us advice on how we should operate this program and these programs to be more effective. Then we have internal advisory boards. These are our science, technology, and engineering faculty members along with other staff members. Would you stand or wave your hand if you're on our advisory board? So these are the people who come down, look over the curriculum, help us get our students ready to go out, and they play a very critical role for us. Miss Geneva Kelsey, many of you who are here today will remember that name because Miss Kelsey is a staff person who really held this operation together. Wherever she is, I wish she would raise her hand and be acknowledged. And there is a document, may I borrow your document just a minute? There's a beautiful document that we have for each family, hopefully, and it tells the STEM story. Ms. Chandra Taylor is the young lady who designed this for us, and I would like for her to be acknowledged. She worked late at night to be sure that you could have this in your hand today. Mr. Walls and Mr. Wall and your entire staff, we appreciate the setup, all of the work that you have done and will do as we bring this bill into fruition. Members of the media, remember I said the scribes will be here? That was back in history when we only had the scribes, but now we have the TVs and all kind of camcorders and all. So media, please record well what is happening here. We need the world to know what's going on. I've just been given a note that we have a member of the Board of Trustees here, Dr. Broughton, and his son was a STEM student. Where is he? There he is. And I just take privilege to tell you that his son is now at UAMS studying to be a doctor, and he came through this program. We're just proud of where our students are in this process. Ms. Seals is here representing Senator Pryor. Would you please stand? She always, whenever I see her, her. She asked me, how is STEM? And I always said, well, and we need a few more dollars to complete this project. Please now, you know who you are. Let's get our guests lined up for the groundbreaking. Please come forward and let's get that to happen.